Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, it should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's great to have all of you along. So the federal government shutdown. Let's take a look at the stories that are running this morning. There are a number of them. John Thune offers Schumer a vote deal to end the government shutdown. I'm going to click on some of these here in a moment. Senator Thune considers future vote on extending health care subsidies, MSNBC. Republicans push to pay the troops, reopen the government. That story's from Fox about an hour ago. Let's see what they're saying here.
Welcome back. Day 15
and again, we'll
of the government shutdown.
I'll come back through some of these because this really is the story. So Senate Democrats wanted an equal say in crafting spending bills before the shutdown. Senate today will move through, they're going to talk about the defense spending bill, and this is what Thune is doing. So I'm looking for some reaction here. Thune said we can actually get the appropriations process going forward. That's in the works. And Schumer saying we'll have to see what they're going to put on the floor. Not a lot of news actually in that story. This is, excuse me, that's one of the difficulties. You go through some of these stories, there's not a lot of actual news in there. I mean, you know, they write a story this long and the actual news would be 2 paragraphs. Thune to dare Senate Democrats with a vote on defense spending. And that's really the big news. Let's see what Newsweek is saying. So Thune, what is Thune offering here? He's offered the Democratic leadership a vote on extending the Obamacare tax credits that are about to expire if they get behind reopening the federal government. So if they will reopen the federal government, then we will vote on the Obamacare tax credits. This is what they're making a big deal about, Democrats. Democrats making a very big deal about this. It's all about Obamacare, 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 as if we didn't get enough of that the first time we went through Obamacare. Democrats want to bring back. Democrats just keep revisiting the same old failed policies over and over again. So if they will vote to reopen the government, then we'll vote again on Obamacare. And I don't expect the Democrats are going to take the deal. We will see. There was another story involving Senator Thune. Oh, let's go to the Hill. So check out that photo of Thune. I love that photo. Nope. That's that photo right there says, take your crazy somewhere else. Take your crazy somewhere else. We're having none of it. So Republicans seek to wrest back momentum from Democrats. Oh, give me a break. Momentum from Democrats. And it's largely what I had just shared with you. Republicans are trying to win back the political momentum in the shutdown fight. And again, it's what I said. It'll bring a major defense spending bill to the floor, daring Democrats to vote against it, underlining arguments that the shutdown is hurting military families. I think it's hurting the country, no question. And what's amazing to me is that you had Democrats who think that these Democratic politicians give a crap. like that they care. That is what just absolutely amazes me. All of these government employees, who they're out there whining, and I'm of two minds about that. Seriously, it's first of all, just grow up, become an adult. This is what it means to be. Unfortunately, you're going to work in the federal government. I think a lot of us would make the choice. No, no, thanks. Don't want to work in the federal government. And I'm not denigrating those who work in government, but it's not for everybody. You want to go through the federal shutdown nightmare, and you're an air traffic controller, and we get toward the end of the year, and here we go again. It's back through the same nightmare that we've been through time and time and time again. It's just nonsense. This is why I really become a believer that these government shutdowns have just got to end. They've got to stop. We have got to put pieces in place so that we don't go through this anymore, because this is just absolute nonsense. You go through it year after year after year. And this year, I think, is more outrageous than we have seen previously. It's just absolutely mind-numbing as you watch all of this stuff. So we've got to keep the federal government up and running. It's unfair to federal government employees. I believe it's unfair to the American people that we got to sit in the politics that are getting played with all of this. Just want to seriously makes your stomach turn. I had some other stories here. I spoke about the vice president's response today on to that Politico article. And this is a piece by Matt Vespa. I'm going to back up here a little bit. Yeah, it's Matt Vespa. And talking about these Republican responses and messaging that had been going on. And Vespa says, were the texts bad? Yeah, I mean, there's all manner of things that I would never say to you, that I would never say on the air, that I would even, over social media like this, I would never say them. I think many of us wouldn't. We just not the way. So were the texts bad? He says, sure. Were they the worst thing to ever be exposed by political operatives? No, not even close. We're not going to tolerate any lectures from Democrats who have yet to force Jay Jones, their candidate for Attorney General of Virginia, to drop out after his psychopathic texts were recently revealed. He wished that his Republican colleagues would die. He hoped their kids would get shot and killed so that they would reconsider their focus on their position on gun control and all manner of crazy stuff. And so Vespa says, but a few clowns at young Republicans are somehow greater than that, right? Nope, not even close. Politico had the story about these officials engaging in racist chats. If Democrats want to go down this route, they still get hip-checked by the Jay Jones fiasco. It shouldn't be a political issue. This is one of those things, it shouldn't be a political issue. And we shouldn't speak that way. I totally understand what the vice president was saying about younger people. I've said things when I was younger that I would cringe to say them now. I would never say them. It's part of growing up. For me, it's been a lifelong process of growing up. Didn't happen overnight. Certainly didn't happen at age 20. Yeah, it's a little longer process than that. But the vice president's reaction, this far worse than anything said in the college group chat. The guy who said it could become AG of Virginia. I refuse to join the pearl clutching when powerful people call for political violence. Who is this that's responding to J.D. Vance? This person saying, you weren't simply asking questions, you know it. I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. What is that from? So this stuff is crazy. Here's the Politico story. Let's take a look at this. I should have had this for you this morning. Let me check and be sure you're seeing that. Yeah, no, hold on. I'm gonna close my tab and I'll reopen I'm gonna reopen a new one. There. Let me share the Politico story. I should have had this in front of me this morning as we were talking about it. There you go. There's a Politico story. I love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans' racist chat. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Also, we are officially under consideration for a Trump endorsement. If we ever had a leak of this chat, we would be cooked for real. It was rape. So a few comments. I'm not going to get too shook up about that. It's disgusting. I don't speak this way. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people. Again, just totally shocking, wrong, inappropriate. Putting their political opponents in gas chambers. Talked about raping their enemies, driving them to suicide. Lauded Republicans who they believe supported slavery. And yeah, using the N-word in any form is just wrong. Just wrong. I mean, I've known that for a long time. So those, and then they've got two members of the chat responded. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Everyone that endorsed but then votes for us going to the gas chamber. When do we start bullying, dude? We have a solid 3 people who can probably have them want to jump. I don't even understand what a lot of this stuff means. I mean, it sucks being 62 years old. Serious. What does a lot of this even mean? We want only true believers. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. So again, as Vice President said, this stuff is really inappropriate. It's stuff that we wouldn't use. I know people use it. I know people engage in this kind of stuff. It's just wildly inappropriate. It's wrong. And I'll always say that it's wrong every time. But don't tell me there's not a media double standard. You know, as I was saying on the air this morning, you take a look at what happened on college campuses, you know, last year with the hatred of Jewish people and what we saw occurring there. There's an incredible double standard that's going on. And that is a big part of our problem, is that you have Democrats and left always on, you know, when Republicans do these things, they're going to hammer it like hell. When they do those things, they absolutely ignore them and you don't hear about them. They don't report on them. It's just really unsettling. And I think that's really what got me fired up. Okay, there are a few other stories I wanted to share this morning. New survey shows that the gender madness fever may have finally broken among America's youth. So this was a report that was compiled, and it draws on data for several sources, including annual campus surveys. They found the share of young people not identifying as male or female, that's the non-binary. So in other words, I'm non-binary. So today I feel like a male. I mean, I have to research these terms to know what the hell they even mean. It's just all of this craziness, non-binary. So in other words, today you wake up, you feel like a male. Tomorrow you wake up, you feel like a female. You're non-binary. You can be whatever. So depends on how you feel when you wake up. Okay, if that's not the craziest, crap I've ever heard in my life. So the number of people who are engaging in this are dropping. So the number of people who are engaging in this, whether it's non-binary or transgender, you're born a male, but think you're a female. The number of students and young Americans who are feeling that, polling is showing that those numbers are dropping. And I think that's a piece of good news this morning to see that. It's another story that caught my eye this morning. AOC dodging a question. Sorry. Taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. It's at a town hall with CNN's Caitlin Collins. And she was asked about it. Jill Ireland, identified as a California Democrat who works in insurance. Do you think taxpayers should be paying for the medical care of immigrants who are in the country illegally? And she responded by calling out what she described as a common lie from Republicans who accuse Democrats of shutting down the government. That's not a lie, by the way. That is not a lie. She is the liar. And then she went on. We already know it's federal law, federal statute that undocumented people cannot be covered by the Affordable Care Act. They cannot be covered by Medicaid. They cannot be covered by Medicare, period. That is the law of the land. This is what she said. But the question was, do you think taxpayers should be paying for the medical care of immigrants? She is refusing to believe that the question even has any merit whatsoever. She's saying it's absolutely wrong. What about you? I think Republicans have been very clear, as to what the Democrats are wanting, and the cost. We're talking about an additional $1 trillion in spending is what Democrats are out there pushing for, and the shutdown just goes on. It's pretty incredible. It's one of the reasons why I've shared Mike Johnson, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and other Republicans in some of the videos this week, because they've been, I think they have really gotten the word out there. And that's why I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to hear, what they were saying and what it is that's really happening. This whole thing has just really gotten out of hand. As I was sharing that Politico story, I agree with Steve. Part of the problem is these message fragments. This is 10 lines, of an original message. Absolutely right. David said, I had a friend who lived in an apartment building. There were two non-binary people who made the swimming pool interesting. You never knew what they would wear while tanning. Yeah, that whole thing, non-binary. Again, I have to look, I'm like, what does that mean again? I mean, it's just craziness. Denise is saying she loves how Mike Johnson tells it. It's one of the reasons why I think he's very articulate, and he makes the case in a very compelling way. And, which is one of the reasons why I shared those videos with you throughout the week. So I appreciate your comments. If you are not a subscriber of mine on YouTube, I hope you'll become one. Please become a subscriber. If you know like-minded folks that you think will appreciate what we're doing here each day, please let them know. Please share a link, Invite them to join our conversation. I love having more folks on board. And I'm going to leave it there for today. You have made it to the end of the video. So you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks who are commenting each and every day. There are a greater number of folks who watch than comment. And the Bunker Brigade, those are the folks that are commenting. And I share some of their reactions with you. I just appreciate having you all on board. So until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and gone.